Another video on Canadian real estate will be focused on today in terms of what's happened in the last year, which is 2021, as the 2022 is around the corner. I thought it would be a good time to reflect back and see how the market has performed, as I'm quite sure this has obviously been a hot topic amongst family, friends, and Canadians as the most, and also on our political forefront, where we have all our different parties from federal to the municipal level talking about housing affordability, different strategies that they're going to do or actions they're going to take with policies to make housing more affordable. And the cumulative noise in the media as well, along with social media, has obviously played a big difference. So I thought it was a great time to look back, and I'm going to take you through some of the 2021 numbers. I'm going to share with you some information on 2022, similar to my last video, where I mentioned some of the federal rules that may be changing for 2022, which is to cool down the market, slow down the market, address investors, housing supply, inflation rates, a combination of tactics that the governments are looking at. So, once again, my name is Gurvinder. Welcome to my channel. I hope you like the video, and I hope you subscribe and like, and I appreciate the feedback anytime it's welcome. So why don't we kick it off here? So first, we're looking at here a Twitter thread. This is a Twitter thread. I'll go through some information about the Canadian real estate market. If you're not a follower or user of the social media, I find it very insightful. You get to read and learn from many different people from all over the world, obviously Canadians such as Ben Rabadux, whose thread we'll be reviewing today. And you'll see here, just for some standards. He is a full-time Canadian housing macro credit ninja, as you'll see here. That just obviously this is something he's an expert in. So I definitely want to bring you some credible sources so we can look at the information, look at the visuals, and you can make your own judgments as obviously what you've heard, what you've read, and what your experience has been in the market. So why don't we kick it off? So 2021 was a crazy year for the Canadian real estate market. A quick thread of some of the wilder charts. So I really want to bring you some visuals today, because I think the visuals will really paint a picture of how this market has been. And I think this is kind of one of the most extraordinary times for Canadian real estate. And it could be a one-off, or it could be continued momentum for the years to come. So home sales surged across the country and have already set an annual record with 1 month still to go, on pace to pass previous record by 21%. You can see here all of 1980 to 2020 how many sales throughout the year, and you can see 2021 has surpassed pretty much 20 or 30 years there in 1 year. So you can see how much of an outlier 2021 has been in terms of cumulative home sales. Our second chart here, prices have surged, and we saw a record real house price growth in Q1. So obviously this is your time horizon. This is the percentage of year-over-year increase in real house prices. And you can see here 2021 being at 20%. And this is as of Q2 2021. You can see this growth here of 20% has been greater than any other time, at least since 1975. You have obviously heard about the market in the 1990s. You can see here that was 15%, but obviously given for inflation here, another 5%. Some people always like to compare this to the market crash. You can obviously hear the market dropped then by 10% thereafter. I believe this was around Q3 1990, really 1991. A lot of people like to compare it, but we're in a different time and a different era. We'll see if history rhymes here and follows suit. The third chart here is in nominal terms. The typical house price in Canada rose $160,000 year over year in November. That's $160,000. And putting that in perspective, and that's tax-free for primary residences. And just to give it a metaphor, you would have to make over $270,000 of pre-tax income to earn as much as a typical home did in the past year. You can see that's almost $300,000 you would have to earn in terms of how much Canadian real estate has appreciated. And you'll see here, so year over year change in Canadian benchmark house prices. You can see here since 2014 it's being tracked. You can see here when the market really went up in January 2017, that was year over year was 80,000. So again, terms of the chart and the data it goes back, we haven't seen such a period of time here. $160,000 it's increased year over year. That is astonishing numbers, and that's obviously one of the big reasons this topic is, discussed amongst many family and friends, politicians, obviously investors be brought into this conversation, such as foreign investors and obviously Canadian investors as well. So these numbers are astonishing. With unit sales and prices up massively, the total dollar value of homes sold over the past year surged to nearly $450 billion, so the equivalent of 18% of our GDP, both records so far. So I'm going to pull up one of these charts, which is the dollar value of home sales. So you can see here, 4 quarters rolling since 1990. Not this many value of dollar home sales have been made ever in the history of Canadian real estate, at least since it's been tracked. And these numbers again are astonishing. You can see here as the numbers have been steady in the in the 90s, early 2000s, and you can see them continue to correct. It's really here we see in 2020 to 2021 where we see the surge in the dollar value of home sales. Obviously, homes have appreciated in price. That obviously brings this line that much more higher, because obviously the value of the homes increase, so each sale is now worth more. So if it's worth more, obviously the total cumulative sales in dollar value are going to be more. So that plays a factor, but also just the price appreciation. This really paints a picture of just how much prices have increased. And related to that, our mortgage originations exploded and hit records both in terms, in dollar values and as a share of GDP. So again, this chart will show you the mortgage originations in Canada. Again, since 2010, it's been quite steady. You can see there's an influx here where the housing market really got hot, and then you can see the cooling off period here. But since the pandemic and really the flood of federal money and being in the marketplace in the Canadian economy, we can see mortgage originations obviously have gone up because interest rates have been cheap, and obviously makes that borrowing easier and more affordable for investors, but also for people looking to move up or getting into the housing market. So mortgage originations were almost $250 billion. So the mortgage industry obviously has been quite busy. And in my next video, my next article here, which kind of looks at 2021, some more numbers and more visuals for you guys, and also a little bit about what we may see in 2022, especially given what we're hearing from the federal, provincial, and municipal governments. Investor behavior. Customer insolvencies fell to 20-year lows. Business insolvencies hit 30-year lows. Monthly credit card trust data continues to look fantastic, with payment rates and delinquencies the best on record. So you can see mortgage rates has gone up, or the volume and obviously the number of mortgages, in addition to home prices, home sales, and credit has stayed strong. So our investors, our Canadians, are obviously new residents to this country. Their credit is strong, and credit is strongly available as well. Lastly, population. So population growth is still not back to pre-pandemic levels, so 2019 highs, but has rebounded strongly on the back of record immigration. So let's just look at one chart here. So we can see our population growth in Canada year over year. We can see here in 2021, population growth year over year has increased to 400,000. Obviously here in 2019, we're almost about 600,000 in terms of annual, immigrants that we welcome to this country of Canada. And we can see here the number is obviously creeping higher. So that says a lot about potentially, you hear this a lot, immigrants are coming into Canada, obviously looking to find a place to settle, buy a home. So this also is a factor in terms of home prices. So this is obviously a metric and a chart to pay close attention to. So this was my review of this email thread, and I really want to share with you in terms of what the market has done in 2021, how explosive that growth has been in mortgages, home sales, home prices, volumes of home sales, and obviously some additional information such as credit and population growth. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you give it a like, a thumbs up, subscribe. I love your commentary or any feedback you need to share. Once again, my name is Gurvinder. I hope you have found value from me taking you through this information and really reviewing and reflecting back on the 2021 marketplace. the Canadian real estate marketplace here. Even just walking through this with yourselves, it's really it's eye raising to say the least in terms of the numbers and how much potentially, I'm going to say potentially, this could be an outlier in terms of the growth we've seen. In my next video that's going to follow, I'm going to be analyzing a similar article. Also, Ben is a part of that article as well in terms of some commentary, looking at the real estate market more visually in the numbers for 2021 and potentially what's ahead for 2022. So be on the lookout for that. I hope you found this helpful once again, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, and have a great 2022, and thank you.